Welcome back. Week 2 of Season 3 on Polk Nation. I'm Jim Gazzolo. He's Heath Schroyer. Say it. Get it out there.
How about the
Look,
new?
let's just move on.
How about the new jacket, the new threads, the shirt that matches the jacket? I mean, I am so impressed. Like, God,
I'm GQ.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's unbelievable.
So just the change of a jacket makes me from UGLY to GQ. Is that it?
I'll tell you what. I love the jacket. I love it. And the shirt that
I ain't
matches
gonna see a lot of it. So.
The shirt that, oh, we'll see it for what, 2 more years, right?
Yeah, we'll see. No, maybe if the show takes off, if things happen, maybe there's some in the budget where there can be some more jackets.
Wow, that'd be unbelievable.
Yes. Found a place, found a guy. You always got to find a guy.
Well, here for sure. And let's just make sure we do this. Let's just there's a hanger over there. Let's just make sure that every week.
I take it home, yes.
And you put it in a hanger, on a hanger. Don't throw it in your car.
No, I'm going to put it on a hanger. I'm going to put it on the hanger. I'm going to take it to the car.
I can even put it in my office to hold on to it for you if you want.
Maybe we'll do that. We'll see how we do that. Just leave it there as a shrine. Is that it? All right, lots to talk about, as always, especially early in the year. Football Media Day was yesterday.
Yep.
But I also want to get into Justin Hill got a new 3-year deal, not an extension.
Correct.
You cut up the last year. He was on his last year. A new 3-year deal. This is the Heath Schroyer way. Everybody gets a new contract.
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Why now? Why not wait till the last year of the contract? Why now?
I think from a recruiting standpoint, look, I mean, Coach Hill has had the toughest road to hoe of any of our coaches, if you will. His facility is still not where it was before the hurricane. And obviously there's plans to build a new facility.
Yeah.
If you drive by Common Street, you'll see that fire station's knocked down. We're in the process of land swapping that to put a facility there, but it's going to be a few years. I mean, you can't. I mean, we've all learned that you just can't. Get a building overnight here. So I just think to bring some stability to the program, for his ability to recruit for the next couple years, and just for peace of mind for him and the program, I thought it was the right time to do that. And he's obviously proven himself. He is, the all-time wins leader here.
Yeah.
He's done a great job. He runs an unbelievable program on and off the field. So I just thought it was. I think I kind of caught him by surprise a little bit, but I just brought him in and ripped up the contract and gave him a new one and changed some incentives and things like that to make it more beneficial for him and just appreciate him.
Obviously, it's an interesting time because ripping up a contract and adding another year, you essentially added 2 years.
Correct.
And you got to bump and pay a little bit and that. But the ripping up a contract doesn't happen around here often.
No, there's a lot of things that we do that hasn't happened here before.
No, that's true. That's true.
But look, I mean, at the end of the day, there's contracts that's been ripped up, and I paid them off too. So
a couple we can name, yes.
So I just think that there's an expectation that we need to win. We're not going to cut corners, but we have everything in place in all of our sports to finish at least in the top 3 year in and year out and be in a position to win championships more times than not. That is the expectation here. Coach Hill has lived up to that expectation. And then obviously with his facility being what it is, he's well deserving of that. But make no mistake, I mean, I expect our sports to win.
Yeah. Okay, yesterday was Southland Conference Media Day. Or actually 2 days ago now as we tape. Strange. It was virtual. It was unique. It was but McNeese was picked for 3rd in the conference, which I think is an interesting place. I think it's about right, actually. And I think it's an interesting place because you got to go with who won last year when there's a lot of transfer portal and you don't know teams.
Sure.
It's not like the SEC or other leagues where you have a list of all these teams. This is all brand new. 4 new coaches. One thing I didn't hear a lot of from the league was expansion talk. We talk a lot about conferences. We talk a lot about schedules and that. You really want to see expansion so that scheduling is easier, correct?
100%. I am every time we meet as ADs, the number one agenda on my list is, and to always bring up, is expansion. I think you have to continue to grow and expand. I just don't think that staying packed is the right thing to do. I think that we're one decision away from a San Diego State or something else from the whole world flipping over again.
Yeah.
So I think that conferences that are proactive right now are going to have, and institutions that are proactive are going to have an advantage. And I just think that as a league, we should never think about or never stop thinking about expansion.
Is it weird as an AD to have one toe in the FBS water and one toe in the Southland? Or?
I mean, I don't have any toes anywhere besides the Southland because I'm not the league I'm in is in the Southland. But obviously, I pay attention to what's going on and across the country. And I was very, very interested in the San Diego State move. They notified the Mountain West that they were going to go, and then they reneged and came back. From what I understand, the Pac-12's TV contract was not solidified. That's kind of why they went back. When does that get solidified? I think San Diego State is on borrowed time in the Mountain West.
Yeah, it seems like it's 1 year away.
That's what I kind of think too. So I just think that everyone is kind of, staying packed right now. But again, if you're not paying attention to what's going on across the country, as an athletic director, I think that you're missing the ball.
Coming up after the break, Matt Fontenot will join us. He's Coach's special guest this week on Poke Nation. We'll see you after the break.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. It is a pleasure and an honor to have Mr. Matt Fontenot. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Welcome back, or not back, but welcome to Poke Nation. So you've been in the saddle here for about going on to your second week. So tell Poke Nation what it's like to be back.
It's been great. I grew up going to this place and being a part of Poke Nation. We don't know if we called it that back in the day, but it does feel like it is a little nation around here now. Great following, great atmosphere, great place to be. So excited.
So it's been a whirlwind, right? Obviously, we had a couple meetings and conversations leading up to this. I'm so excited that you're here. I think the level of professionalism that you bring every day is something that I truly value, and you're going to help us move this department forward. But what's the first week or so been like, or 9 days been like?
It's just meeting people, obviously. Trying to get a feel for Coach Goff and Coach Hill, the two sports that I'll oversee, and just try to be an asset to them and support them any way I can. I think Coach Goff is doing some great things just in the little bit of time that I've been around him. I think he brings a lot of things to the table from an accountability standpoint with our programs, and so I think he's going to have some success. So just getting around him and seeing how I can help, maybe seeing if we can't do things a little bit better in different areas. I know he has some resources limitations that maybe I didn't have at my last stop, but how can we still bring that level of a program to Poke Nation? So,
now, Matt, you come from St. Louis, where you were the head baseball coach.
Yep.
You going to miss coaching?
I am. I mean, obviously, I always say life moves at the speed of relationships, and those kids were hard to say goodbye to. Specifically, that's always the toughest part. I'll miss those kids and just miss being around them. They're like kids to you. And so that'll be the roughest part is missing the locker room and missing that aspect of it. But as far as the baseball part of it, I just enjoy being around sports. So, I'll be around Coach Hill's program now.
I want to thank you for bringing the professionalism up in the department, because it's a little childish at times. So good to see the professionalism back. Now, when you were at St. Louis, one of the things you were doing was helping to kind of shift over to the new school, kind of the rebuild after the hurricanes. You kind of parallel here. I mean, there's a little more been done already here.
Sure.
But do you see the parallels in the two?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think I've always kind of used the hashtag "It's time" ever since my time at St. Louis. I think it's time for this place to rebuild. I think it's time for Southwest Louisiana to be rebuilt, and I'm excited just to be a part of that at this level and with McNeese. But yeah, I think St. Louis is doing some great things, and they're on the cusp of doing some really awesome things as far as private education and Catholic education. But yeah, I think McNeese is on the verge of something great here too.
Before St. Louis, coming back home, you were at Texas A&M, director of football operations,
Yep.
SEC Power Conference, big things. McNeese has aspirations to go to FBS. You helped take Texas A&M from the Big 12 to the SEC. How hard is it to do something like that, and how hard do you think it is to go up to FBS? What needs to be done?
Yeah, obviously, resources is the biggest part. I think that was the biggest thing that we noticed. Going from Big 12 to SEC, I was there that second year, and a lot of things had to be done from a staffing standpoint. Your analyst numbers in football have to go from 2 to 6 so that you can keep up with the SEC opponents. Your recruiting staff has to get bigger. Obviously, just everything that you do has to get bigger and better. What they've done with the locker room here and spending, over $1 million to help with recruiting is going to be a big deal. It's things like that to keep you keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak.
Well, so I think the neat thing that we talked about is that, obviously you talked about resources. Well, to enhance resources comes down to relationships. You have some really unbelievable built-in relationships here. How will you tap into those relationships to help us and help this institution department from a fundraising standpoint?
Yeah, I think obviously, again, just being from here and building those relationships at St. Louis, I'm excited to continue those. I think there's another one that we've talked about this past week or two, that some former athletes, guys that are maybe a little bit younger than some of the donor pool that's involved currently, that I think could be really, really beneficial to the future of McNeese athletics. And so I'm excited to try to build some more relationships with some former athletes that need to get involved again.
Now you're still. What made you decide to come back to Lake Charles? I mean, you're in the SEC, you're at Texas A&M. What makes you take the step back to not only high school but to come back to Lake Charles?
Well, unfortunately, the nature of the beast in college football is, you get let go whenever a coach gets let go. So I was a part of Coach Sumlin's staff. Coach Fisher came in and had other plans for the football department, and so I got back into the game of baseball at that time. And the job at St. Louis came open. I was coaching baseball in Texas, so it was just one of those, kind of why not go home and coach baseball, but still with an end goal of wanting to be in college at some point. So really just kind of bet on myself that I can come back and continue to build relationships and hopefully be a part of this department.
So you always want to get back into college.
Yeah.
And this guy dragged you back into it.
He did.
When we come back on Poke Nation, Matt Fontenot will tell us a little bit more about his return to Lake Charles and what he sees for the future of McNeese after this. We're back with Matt Fontenot, newly appointed. What exactly is his title? And what
He's a
exactly,
senior associate athletic director for external relations.
What does that do?
Does a lot. Like, here's the thing, and I will tell you, is that
To save your skin is basically what it does.
okay.
That's all.
That works for sure.
That's all I wanted to
I think that here's the thing, that football is such a monster.
Yeah.
So Matt has day-to-day over football and day-to-day over baseball. So those are his two sports that he oversees. I will just tell you that football is a monster, and from scheduling to, you're dealing with with coaches, 140, 50 people. So it's a monster. So he oversees the day-to-day of that, oversees day-to-day of baseball, and then from external relations, it helps me with fundraising. He and I are really starting to put a strategic plan together, like he alluded to in the last segment. We're looking at how do we get former athletes to be back involved when they leave here. How do we keep them involved, in math, right? Like, how do we continue to grow the McNeese Athletic Foundation? And his time at A&M has been, for me, really, really valuable to kind of tap into that. And he understands that math is the way. If we're ever going to move this thing forward, it's through math.
How much will you use connections that you got at A&M and that when you look at scheduling? Because in many ways, doesn't your scheduling have to be kind of flexible in case you move leagues?
It does, yeah. And then the SEC has its own thing going on with bringing in new teams, and they're still undecided about how many games they're going to play in conference. So it definitely is going to be a little flexible. But I think, we obviously have to put ourselves in a position to prove that we can win some of those games at the next level. So keeping that in mind whenever we're doing some scheduling, trying to make sure we beef up our FBS opponents on our upcoming schedule. So
Yeah, one of the problems I think you have is FCS schools don't like to travel to other FCS schools country-wise because they'd rather go play the money games. So how do you kind of adjust to that so that you get your money games, but you also get some home games that are FCS-like?
It's difficult, like you said, bringing up the travel part of it. It's like I don't know. It's very difficult. I'll put it that way. We got some resources and some connections and relationships that can help us tap into maybe some, 5, 4, 6 hour drive games. North Texas area that hopefully would want to come play us. But it's definitely got to be flexible when doing this scheduling.
One of the things that we've always talked about here is the McNeese brand nationally. For a few years, it's been down. Is it better now? Do you see it now? Do you feel that, or have you not been here long enough to really judge that?
No, I definitely feel it trending in that direction. You build a facility just like this one that we're sitting in. Obviously, that puts you on the map above somebody, and a lot of people in our conference for sure. So, and then obviously, you just create excitement through hires. Obviously, the Will Wade hire is a big deal, but even Gary Goff coming from a national championship team that he had, those types of things carry weight and definitely regionally and nationally.
Has he told you all the stories about the hires?
He has. I've heard them.
All the versions?
Yep.
Yeah, that's all.
So Matt, when you come in here, and obviously you played here, so you had an idea and what McNeese was. Here you are today. Talk a little bit to Poke Nation about the changes that have been made and kind of where you think we can go.
Yeah, I think, again, I'll say we didn't have a basketball arena like this. We had to go to the Burton Coliseum to watch our teams play. And so this is phenomenal. I think that the upgrades that have been made around campus and athletic facilities has been unbelievable. So to be able to, for student athletes to be able to play in places like this as a student athlete brings me a lot of pride. Just, that these programs are continuing to be better and better. I will say, though, as a young, just McNeese Cowboy fan, playing football on the hill in the hole as a kid, those things were packed. And so I would love to be able to bring that back, and I think we've got some things going that could do that. But Poke Nation really has got to get involved to be able to really get us back to selling out the stadium for football, packing the house for basketball, and having good teams. So.
Go ahead, Jim.
As a high school baseball coach here, with a thriving program and a lot of quality kids, how does McNeese look differently now than maybe years ago as a place to go as these facilities get up? Because a lot of kids didn't want to come here because it was too close to home and all that. But now with the facilities and all that, are there more kids looking at it?
There definitely are. I think, and then what they've done, they've been to a regional in 2 of the last 4 years, or whatever their streak's been. I think Coach Hill's definitely done a great job in putting them back into being relevant and dominant. So, and it's hard nowadays, though, with the transfer portal for young kids and high school kids to want to come here, but or feel like they have a chance to play. But I think, again, with their success, they've proven it's a place they want to be.
And getting a few kids drafted every year doesn't hurt either.
That doesn't hurt either, yeah.
I thank Matt Fontenot for joining us. When we come back, we'll get Coach's final words on this edition of Poke Nation. We're back. Coach, Matt Fontenot, interesting hire because you brought him back from college, back to college.
Yep.
He came back to the town. What's it like and what's it mean for McNeese to have somebody who's played at McNeese to come back?
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt is he's a rock star. I was always impressed with him. I was really, really impressed with him through the interview process. And then the last, week and a half that he's been on campus has been just been phenomenal. He's got a special family. Mallory, his wife. We went to dinner. You go
to dinner with a lot of people you interview, don't you?
For sure. But they're just special family. He's a special guy, and I think that anytime you bring someone back into their alma mater, I think it's just a little bit. It's special. He obviously bleeds blue and gold. And
he must believe in what you're doing then.
For sure. I mean, I think so. I mean, I was very, very transparent with him about expectations for this position, where we're trying to go, where we really need to become more efficient and better. And I think that, he really fit that. And I will say this too, the interest in that position, in that job, I talked to you on the phone about it. I mean, it blew me away.
I was not interviewed for the job.
Right. The 3 people that I interviewed, not including Matt, were all really, really good. They're all sitting external assistant ADs, associate ADs at other institutions, bigger institutions. So I was blown away by the interest, but I just think that Matt was just the perfect fit, and I think that we really are going to complement each other really well.
Okay, let's talk about some of your other jobs. One of the other jobs is that of concert promoter. How are we doing with the concerts?
They're doing great. I actually just finished the contracts. Yesterday. So we're filming Tuesday. So yesterday I just finalized the contracts. We'll release the lineup. And
listen to the man with
probably
with
next week.
But
one thing we are going to do different. One thing we are going to do different is we're going to do the concerts from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock with the live bands, and then we're going to bring in a DJ after that from 9:15 until 10:45. So that the students can hang out and be a part of it even more and longer. So it's going to be a long night, but I think that bringing a DJ on top of the band is going to be a game changer. Always got to think bigger and better. How do we make it bigger and better?
No, that's interesting because you'll have a different crowd for the DJ than everything else.
For sure.
Your kind of music going to be played
as a
DJ?
I listen to all kinds of music. I love every genre.
But all the concerts are set up.
100%. All of them are booked. Contracts are signed. Deposits are made. And it is an unbelievable lineup. Like the Folk Nation will really like it a lot.
So, do you ever stop selling?
I'm not selling. I'm passionate about what I do. So if that comes across as selling, I can't help that. But I mean, it's an unbelievable lineup.
But things are. I wanted to ask you about the tailgating. Where's tailgating compared to last year and ticket sales? Is there a...
Yeah, so we'll probably put a release out on this, but all the Champions Club is sold out. All the box seats in the stadium are sold out. We have 2 tailgate spots left. They should be sold by the end of the week. So if you want a tailgate spot, make sure you call the ticket office because there are only 2 left.
Oh, there you go. You had to sell at the end even there.
I mean, it's true, though. There's only 2 left.
So
I mean, you think about it.
Wait a minute. We got a project coming up.
Okay.
We want to talk about this a little bit because you and I have talked about it. We're taking the radio show and we're moving it to a podcast.
Correct.
It will still be on site, but it will be. We're going to have little specials that we're going to give, maybe some giveaways for guests that are for fans that ask questions and that. How excited are you for that? And just another element of.
I'm really excited about
McNeese's
it.
word out there.
I'm really excited about it. You know, we're still obviously in the final stages of putting it all together, but. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a podcast that you're going to be able to go online and listen to it. We're also obviously going to film it live. It's going to be in a venue where it's going to be interactive with the fans that can ask Coach Golf questions and things like that. I think it's going to be unbelievable. I think it's really going to catch fire, and I'm excited about it.
And Marcus is going to be a part of it.
And yours truly, of course, is going to be a part of it. I mean, how do we do anything without the Gazzolo the Great, right?
No suit required, no jacket required. That's all I know. No jacket required for that. We'll just have a.
I mean, we can't do anything without Gazzolo the Great.
Oh yes, you can. I think you do an awful lot without me. The upcoming season.
Yeah.
Just real quick in the last minute here, how important is it for McNeese? Not only to get off to a good start, but to keep the momentum going.
I think this is a really big year for us for a lot of reasons. I think, and I'm very, very confident in the success that we're going to have, especially in the 2 major sports. I've said all along here that, that football and basketball have to be good. I think that both of them are going to make major, major strides this year. I love what Coach Golf is building. We have 4 seniors in the entire.
That's it.
I mean, out of 110 players on the team, we have 4 seniors. So you think about, the steps we're going to make this year, and then what does the next couple years look like. But he is building a championship program, and I couldn't be happier. And obviously, Will Wade has come in here like I knew he would, and flip this thing, and flip the roster. And I look for us to have a banner season in basketball.
57 new players on the McNeese football team. They'll be out of camp next week. Well, we'll talk about it then on Poke Nation. We'll see you next time.